Lina, are we ready to get started?
Yes, we are. Just looking whether we have Michele here, one of the speakers. Hopefully he will join soon. But I think we can start the spaces. I think we're ready. Okay, everyone. Hi. I hope everyone can listen, can hear me well. Welcome to our X Spaces today on the state of governance at Moonbeam. It's actually the first time we're holding governance spaces. I'm Lina, and I work on governance, and I'm excited to have you here to dive into some basically key aspects of how governance is evolving in our ecosystem and how it has been evolving. Before we jump into the discussion, I'd like to mention two things. First, Moonbeam Governance Guild. We are accepting applications. This is a new initiative. It's all about empowering our community and enhancing governance on both Moonbeam and Moonriver. So we are hoping to delegate a total of 5 million Glimmer tokens and 50,000 Mover tokens to 10 dedicated community members. These delegates will help ensure the governance that reflects a broad range of voices with commitment to transparency and active engagement. And the stress is on the last part, the active engagement. Applications are open now and it will close in 3 days, November 7th. So we have 3 days to apply if you are really passionate about shaping Moonbeam's future. So don't miss the opportunity. And second, we have compiled wallet addresses of everyone who voted in the last 10 referenda on both networks, Moonbeam and Moonriver. Those who had participated 100, those who had 100% participation, meaning they voted on all 10 proposals, are going to be airdropped Glimmer and Mover tokens. Yay! Can I get some hearts and fire? Those who had, awesome. Thank you for that. Those who had at least 50% participation, which means they voted at least 5 times in the last 10 proposals, they will be entered into an online shuffle and get a chance to be chosen to be airdropped some tokens. And we will announce the results of the lottery in the second half of this call. So make sure to hang on until then. Okay, then let's start today's discussion. Governance, sexy. Governance it's not just about protocols, right? It's about empowering communities to shape the direction of the projects they are part of. And I actually think that here at Moonbeam, we have done a good job at creating frameworks that allow for transparency, flexibility, and true community involvement. And today we'll talk about where we are, what are the challenges we are facing, and where we are headed. So, to give you a brief overview of the state of governance on Moonbeam, I thought I'd just mention some numbers. We enabled OpenGov on Moonriver in February 2023. So, it's going to be, almost 2 years soon. And on Moonbeam in August of the same year. Since then, we had 79 referenda on Moonbeam and 64 on Moonriver. There are, in average, about 140 unique voters on Moonbeam and about 80 on Moonriver. And we have community elected Treasury Council and Grants Committee. But instead of me telling you about it, I decided to invite the community members whom you actually know from our channels and the forum. So let me introduce the incredible lineup of speakers that we have today with us, who each play essential role in shaping governance here at Moonbeam. I'll start with my colleague, Piotr, our product lead and my co-host for today's discussion. Piotr brings product vision and strategy that ties into the overall governance model we are building. And if you don't follow him here yet, I urge you to do so because his Friday product updates are actually fantastic. And it's awesome to witness all the behind the scenes efforts of the team. As for our speakers for today, they are representatives from three main pillars of governance in our ecosystem. It's community delegates, Treasury Council, and Grants Committee. First, we have community delegate Marin. He's the vital voice that brings forward the interests and insights of our diverse community. And his work helps ensure that the decisions we make align with our community's values and needs. And he's one of the most popular community delegates in our ecosystem. Next, we have 3 Treasury Council members. I hope Michele found his way in. These are the people, our community members, entrusted with managing Treasury resources and making strategic decisions on fund allocation. These are Simon, aka Sig, Yaron, and Michele. You can see them here. Yep. Okay, and I'm also pleased to have Grants Council member here, Jim, our veteran. Jim is part of Season 5 Grants Committee that oversees the funding processes for initiatives that contribute to Moonbeam's development and success. And yeah, thank you all for joining us, and let's get started. Piotr, why don't you take over from here? And I'm gonna shut up.
Thank you, Lina. Thanks, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. And today I prepared a couple of points that I would like to discuss with you to describe you what we do on the Moonbeam Foundation side. So, as you know, product is all about features, but they need to come in a specific order and priority. So, my task is also to make sure that we have a decent roadmap, that we know what to do, and we are prioritizing things that are required by the community. And that's also that I'm kind of directly available to any kind of feedback, and this feedback can come by just commenting my posts on X. And yes, I do this quite regularly. Every Friday you will get news from me in terms of anything that is happening on the product side. But if you want to have a little bit more structured approach to the feedback, to the posts, I invite you to the forum. We created a specific funnel for these feedback posts, so I can also prioritize them, and I can discuss them with you via forum, so more elaborate formats. And the features that are coming to the funnel, then we need to work on them. And so we prepare the design plans, and we make sure that we can deliver them on time, and that is closely related to our release cycle. Yes? So I know it sounds boring, but here at Moonbeam, I think what is very challenging but also satisfying is that the upgrades are coming quite regularly. It is more or less monthly upgrades. So you can have new stuff coming every month, and that's not so common in a blockchain space. So as they are coming so frequently, we have at least 2 big networks that we serve. So Moonriver and Moonbeam. We have Moonbeam's Alpha that is let's say handled locally by the development team. There is also a lot of occasion and chance to vote on the upgrades. Yes, so runtime upgrades. These are the stuff that are belong to the root track, and that means it's up to you whether to take them or to basically tell us no to some of the features that are coming. So I'm preparing this personally together with the team. Every 2 weeks, more or less, we are preparing new proposals, both for Moonriver and Moonbeam. I'm making sure that we also handing over not only the binary code, but meaningful description of the features that you are shipping. It's not only not all the time the case that you will have all about exciting features that are making our lives easier. Sometimes they are more about enabling some of the performance or let's say optimizations, but altogether it creates a good and healthy pace for the project, and that means that we can adjust to changing market conditions, to anything that is happening in the space. I think a good example of that is that we increase the throughput and the performance of the system 8 times. We just finished these tasks. We are very committed to bring even more easy to understand and use apps using smart wallets, account abstraction, passkeys, so biometrics. We try to look in the future and create a bit of mobile first experience, especially for our DApp. DApp, our entry point to the ecosystem, it's community driven. in terms of updates to their, for instance, project database. We also looking closely at any requests that are coming around UX and UI. So if you see that something is off, that something is not looking right, just let me know. I will make sure that it will get our attention, and we'll start working on this if applicable right away. So maybe one of these prominent examples of the features that we just added is to expose, for instance, the edit button in project details. So if you are a little bit tech savvy, so you know Git and GitHub, you can very easily contribute also to this database that we are trying to keep up to date. And it's kind of easy to just go there, to add your own additions, and to create new pull requests, so new proposal of the changes, and then we can take them and update the database of the project. So you will be always looking at the latest news from Moonbeam and Moonriver ecosystems. So with that, I will be also creating more hands-on tutorials just to encourage you to contribute more and to be part of this. So without you, it will be always chasing something that could not be fully accomplished. And when we have more power on the editor side, we will deliver the highest quality possible. So I think that would be updates in terms of like anything that is generic and recurring. And for specificities that are coming in the next couple of weeks and months, just come to forum, come to X, and follow us and start discussing. So with that, I would close my part, and Lina, over to you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Piotr. So next, I want to introduce Marin. About a year ago, we started delegated voting program, and Marin was one of the first who became a community delegate. And let's hear from him now. Marin, off to you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the invite, Lina and Moonbeam. So basically, as a community delegate, you're shaping the future of Moonbeam chain by accepting delegation from token holders. If you're interested in doing so, the process is super simple. You just have to register on the forum and also on the Karma platform. So it just requires a small bio and any useful information about yourself. And of course, your voting philosophy. Thanks to that profile page on Karma, people can start delegating tokens to you after reading your profile, basically. And you will need also to link that Karma profile to the forum for a simple identity verification. So you will need to sign a message with your wallet and include it in the post. After that, let's say you are becoming a community delegate, and you can start a delegation report topic on the forum, and basically starting your voting journey and posting your report regularly, of course. So that's a bit the idea of a community delegate, in my view.
Awesome. Thank you, Marin. In the introduction part, I actually said that Marin is one of the most popular community delegates, and I'm wrong. Marin is one of the strongest community delegates. By that, I mean he has the highest voting power in the community. As for who is the most popular one, I'll tell you a bit later. But Marin, I actually want to ask you this question. Has your voting pattern changed since you became a community delegate with the highest voting power? Because that's a huge responsibility.
To be very honest with you, my voting philosophy didn't change, I'd say, but still I started to take my role more seriously. First, I did it a bit for, just trying the OpenGov palette, but since I received a few important delegation from around 100 delegators that I want to say thank you. Let's say I became a bit more serious, and my voting pattern get more active, I'd say. As you say, delegating token is a great power coming with great responsibility. So the job, I would say, is just to vote as frequently and qualitatively possible as I can do. So that's why I forgive my reasoning on the forum with regular report for the transparency. So That's how it changed it, but it didn't change much, to be honest.
Yes, I actually second that. Marin is very disciplined in his reports on the forum. Maybe that's the reason why people delegate to him so much. But I want to ask another question. Marin, can you think of any proposal which you thought was controversial or like really made you think how to vote?
That's a good question, actually. Controversial, I don't know, but recently there was a proposal about opening a new HMP channel, and I wasn't very sure of the team, and I thought it was maybe a bit risky, but I abstained in the end, and the proposal ultimately failed. So it reminded me that you have to be very careful about voting for opening new channels. We have a responsibility over the protocol and token holders, so that one was a great reminder that we should assess that type of proposal very carefully.
Oh, that's interesting. We will not be pointing fingers here, but it's on chain. You can go and check if anyone is interested. Okay, so my next question is actually to maybe other community delegates here. It's Jim and Sig, and Marin, you as well. As you know, we introduced MGG, Moonbeam Governance Guild, and we will be delegating, Foundation will be delegating about 1 million GLMR tokens on Moonbeam. So are you worried that your voting power might diminish with the launch of the program? And are you going to apply? Yeah, Marin, maybe you can start, and Jim and Sig.
Yep, so I'm not worried at all. I'm quite excited about the MGG idea. It's a great addition, but so basically I would just continue to do my thing as a delegate. And I'm glad there will be more voting power for other community members because it strengthens decentralization of the DAO. And in the end, that's what we want. I mean, that's what I want.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think the MGG is great, and I think giving the opportunity for others to participate in governance with those large delegations can really be a positive thing for decentralized governance. Am I worried about my voting power? I mean, not worried. It's getting more people active, I would say, is going to be really good and beneficial. I have my voting power that people have delegated as well as the ones from CERDM. But I'm actually just more excited for other people to participate. And so for that reason, it's likely I'm not going to apply because I already have voting power that's delegated to me. And I feel if there are 10 spots, 5 on Moonriver and 5 on Moonbeam, those are 10 new people that maybe haven't participated much, but will get the opportunity to. So I'll see how it goes, but likely I probably won't apply, at least at this point, unless there's some compelling need.
Hell yeah. I'm entrusted by over 170 delegates on the Moonbeam Network, so I'm the most delegated by numbers. And I highly encourage the program and getting this up because I don't want to be the next Giotto that single-handedly decides on the face of governance. We don't want that here. So I applied for the MGG, but mainly for Moonriver, where I have less voting power. So let's see how that plays out. But in the end, it's just a net win for the ecosystem because currently Moonbeam referenda finish with like 3 million in support, and that's nothing related to the supply. So we really need to get participation up.
Okay, awesome responses. Thank you. And yes, that's our most popular community delegate, Sig. I wanted to introduce him myself, but he did it for himself, and that's our beloved Sig. Okay, so let's start the second part. And the second panel is the Treasury Council. And yeah, we have the speakers here. I'm not sure if Michele is here, but Sig and Yaron, off to you guys.
Yep, that's me again. So first, what is the Treasury Council role in governance? So I'm really happy about that part because it basically decouples the funding from the Treasury from the normal governance. And in my opinion, that's one of the biggest wins over Polkadot.OpenGov, where we just saw everything go south with OpenGov crazy spending. And the Treasury Council adds another layer of sanity to Treasury expenses. And in my opinion, that's a great way how to deal with it, because it's not just as easy as it's in other chains to get that spending done. And yeah, the Treasury Council is currently in the third term, and I'm in it from the start. And at the beginning, we had a blank canvas to line out how this program could work and drive forward the way how we deal with the proposals. And one of the things I'm most proud of is like the crazy reduction in RPC spending from the Treasury, because when the program started, that was one of the major things. The Treasury spent tens of thousands every month on RPC funding, and we heavily cut down on the expenditure of this. Currently, the Treasury balance is above the Genesis balance, so we are actually
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
growing the Treasury instead of draining it, and that's something to be really proud of. So I think our role in the Treasury Council is to shape a sustainable Treasury that can grow and support wider initiatives in the ecosystem.
Maybe one quick question on my side. So you mentioned that it was like a blank page in the beginning. You did like this like a hard way, so it's now a little bit more complicated and challenging. So is this like also like exciting, and this difficult, challenging equals exciting to you? Like it is like the worth the effort. What do you think?
Absolutely, because we can see how it played out. So at the beginning, the Treasury was shrinking, and we did all these spendings without big return that was visible for the users, because the users just used the chain and they didn't know about the underlying RPC infrastructure. And we kind of cut down on this thing without anybody noticing. So we kept the performance up, we kept up all the good stuff, and same way cut down on spending. So yeah, that's one of the most exciting things, I would say, that we can actually do something for the ecosystem and strive for the greater good.
Mm-hmm. And by making these decisions, is it like hard to reach the consensus? Like how does it look like?
Absolutely, because like the Treasury Council, this consists out of different people from the ecosystem and from the foundation, and everybody has different views, and that's also important why where we bring in different people with different expertise. For example, I did join as a technical expert on infrastructure and collation and stuff like that, so I could bring in valuable insights on actual system usage of these RPC nodes and stuff like that. So I could evaluate and demo how you can achieve this level of traffic without that spending.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Can I jump in here for 1 second, Lina? Sorry. If anybody's
yes,
in the
Neil.
crowd listening, please, and you have any questions or you have any comments, again, click on that little pill and the little chat icon in the bottom right, and you can drop a comment under the Spaces link. And you can ask us any questions or any topics you want to discuss or any questions for the panelists here.
Amazing. Thank you, Neil. Yeah, I think you are one of the most experienced hosts that we have here in this group. Yeah, thank you for that. Before I hand over to Yaron, I wanted to briefly mention that there are gonna be changes coming to the Treasury, and by changes I mean there are gonna be much more funds. And yeah, Yaron, if you can speak to that, mic is yours.
Sorry, I think we are missing one of our members here from the Treasury, Michele. Let me just quickly ping him in the chat.
Yes, unfortunately, we couldn't get him in. I think he is listening, but we cannot see him and we could not make him a speaker. So, yeah, just go ahead and, yeah, you can answer the question yourself if you want.
Just a quick second. Right. So there were future changes coming up, I think, from Gauntlet recommended, which in the end will mean more funding for the Treasury, but also more responsibilities. So yeah, that's coming up. So I can't say too much about it yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Yaron, then maybe another question for you. Like, what would you say is the most exciting part of your role in the Treasury?
So actually, it's a lot of fun because you get to do a lot of things and learn a lot. So as a example that comes to mind, we had the pink airdrop, which I guess many of you experienced. That was actually quite exciting because we had to set up a multi-sig for it and in the end distribute a large amount of pink tokens to like 20,000-ish addresses. So that was actually quite a lot of work also in the background, which you don't see, but also very interesting from a technical point of view.
Yes, definitely. I remember the moment where the multi-sig, I mean, I think you guys did not expect that there are going to be so many addresses.
No, we
And I
didn't.
ended up messing it up and adding more and more because I wanted to give away as many tokens to as many people as possible. And I remember it was, I think, like 3 a.m. for me. I was pushing you guys and you were like, Sick is working on it. And yeah, it took
Yeah.
like about, I think, I don't know if you actually went to bed that night, if you ever slept. But yeah, in the end, it worked out. And I think a lot of people were happy. Good
I mean, Sick,
times.
how do you remember it?
Yeah, it was a great fun. Actually, I've been on company retreat back in that time. I prepared everything as good as possible, but you can never prepare for these situations. So it ended up being a bit of chaos, and it was a lot of fun. But we stayed within our projected timeline, and we got every single address distributed. So we made it, and it was fun. Chaos, but fun.
I think it was a 3 out of 5 multisig, wasn't it?
Yes.
Wait, let me check.
I think it's one of the advantages to have such tech savvy people in the Treasury Council because they can actually do extra work. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on then. And I'm going to introduce Jim. He is our grants council person. And he's also a veteran. And he has been, if I'm not mistaken, from the start of the program. And now in season 5, he is actually ecosystem and community expert. And he's going to talk more about that. Jim, off to you.
That's great. Thanks, Lina. And yeah, the grants, there was a grants committee that wasn't community elected. And once it went elected, then I was one of the first, I guess you could call it, founding members of the decentralized one. So that's been great, and I appreciate the community. Thinks I'm doing a good job that they keep electing me back in. So I'll just give a quick overview of the grants program, and we're in season 5. So the grants program runs in seasons that last 6 months back to back. And each season has 6 community elected members, and that's changed through the seasons. It used to be 3, but we've expanded that more, as well as foundation members. And the committee reviews grant proposals and votes whether or not to approve grant awards to proposals that come in. It's a competitive process. I'll be upfront about it. It's there's a frequent comment from teams. In fact, this morning we were on a call and the team fed back that the committee is really diligent in making sure that we do our work to get the right info from these teams and ensure that only the best teams are going to receive grants. But that shouldn't scare people from applying. And I'll give some tips on what teams can do to improve their submissions. But season 5 of the new committee, it kicked off October 1st, and we've had 9 calls with projects either completed to date or scheduled to be completed. Awarded grants will have milestones. So let's say a team makes it through the process and we negotiate milestones with them. They'll usually be performance-based, at least in part. and chunks of the awarded grants are paid out as those milestones are completed and verified. So it could be something as simple as transactions or minted NFTs, or it could be some more complex things that require a lot of thought to make sure that these teams are really building and boosting the network the way we want them to. Lina mentioned that, I'll just add one more piece on that. So the milestones have to be completed within 6 months. It's very rare in the 5 seasons. I think maybe once that was extended, maybe more than that, but it really is rare that a team can extend it more than 6 months. So all those milestones have to be completed. So as Lina mentioned, part of my role this season is a community expert, which is a new role, and it's based on the feedback that the community wanted more engagement on what we're doing in the committee. And so, for instance, you can expect a forum post later this week. I was going to try to get it out last week, but I wanted a couple more calls to go through. So you can expect a forum post later this week that's going to talk about some of those those projects that we've reviewed so far this season, as well as just getting some updates from last season as well, since we're only 1 month in. And I'll just add on this overview. So I've been joining the Discord dev open mics that Kevin hosts on Thursday, and when my time permits, and if there's nothing pressing in those dev calls that's being talked about. In the past, I've discussed some of the work on the grant committee there too, and some of the projects, because sometimes some of those projects that we actually granted, or maybe are looking towards a grant, they're actually on those calls as well. So it's pretty good to catch up with them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jim. Before I let you go, I actually want to ask you a question. So you have been a Grants Council member for several seasons, as you mentioned. Are there any patterns in the types of applications you receive? Maybe, I don't know, there are more applications in gaming than in DeFi, or maybe something that actually stands out from the crowd that really catches your attention.
Yeah, the thing is, we get a little bit of everything in the 5 seasons, from platformer games to some newfangled DeFi DApp that a team wants to build. And some of the ideas are really interesting. And it's impressive to see the time and effort these applicants put into their projects, and also the professionalism that a lot of them bring to these proposals. So I would say that the biggest portion of grant recipients are the teams that have really put that thought into it, into why someone would want to use what they're trying to build. They have a strong go-to-market plan. Maybe they already have some demonstrable traction and just need a little help getting to the next level, and that's why they're applying for a grant. But these are the teams that really seem to have success. And I'll just add, so I guess trends. One thing is this ongoing narrative on Moonbeam with getting teams to integrate their games in RWA. And these past seasons particularly, I would say there have been more of those projects applying for grants. And that's partly due to the buzz that Moonbeam has got going in these areas, and the BD working hard to drive these teams to Moonbeam. And of course, we see a lot of great Brazilian teams, because there has been a focused effort, and there's so much interesting stuff going on in Brazil when it comes to DLT that we've really seen some high quality applicants from Brazil and wider LATAM as well.
Great, thank you for the answer. And the reason why we have such a good and such a strong community in Brazil is thanks to Tiago, who is here in listening to us now. Hi, Tiago. Thank you, Jim, for the insights. And I personally look forward to reading the forum posts that you have been working on.
Yes.
Before I move on, I see here a question in the chat. Green Ghost asks, spreading a voting power, isn't it a good thing? Yes, Green Ghost, it is a good thing. It is actually a very good thing. That's one of the reasons why we introduced MGG, Moonbeam Governance Guild. And applications are open, as I said. You have 3 days to apply. And since there are people who joined in just to listen about insights, maybe about the MGG, I am going to give you one. If you are applying, and when you are applying, provide some links in the additional information box, links to maybe you have voted in the past several referenda. Why not to add that? Or maybe you engaged in a conversation on our forum post about governance, maybe on runtime upgrades. Just put the link there as well. Yeah, so here's your insight into the application process. We will be closing it on November 7th, and application review will last for about 2 weeks. It might end a bit earlier depending on how many applications we have. I'm going to say that we have over 2 dozen now, but I know that there are so many procrastinators just like I am, and people are going to be applying in the last minute. So yeah, if you haven't done it yet, do so, and then you can expect a response from us within 2 weeks. So, okay, now I actually want to invite Neil to hold online lottery for governance participants. And yeah, he can announce the results of it. Neil, off to you.
Yeah, thanks, Lina. So I wanted to make this lottery, as fair and transparent as possible. So I ran the lottery on wheelofnames.com. I created like the whole little spinning wheel. I shuffled all the names, I think 5 or 6 times to make sure there was no patterns there. I recorded the video and I am trying to post it. The one for Moonbeam Lottery is at 60% uploaded, and the one for Moon River is at 26%. So as soon as those get through, I'll upload the video for transparency. But I do have the wallet addresses for the winners. So for the Moonbeam Lottery, there were 3 winners, and I'll just give the last 4 digits of the wallet number. I'm going to read out the entire wallet address. I think I'll be a little crazy. So the first winner was wallet ending in 4860. The second one was A as in apple, number 9, E as in elephant, number 8. And the third winner was E as in elephant, F as in Frank, 6, and then 4. And it uploaded. So I'll upload the first video. You can watch it spin. It's kind of fun and mesmerizing to watch it spin and go through. The second lottery for Moon River is not done uploading, so I'm sorry I have to listen to me read out the names again, the wallet addresses. But the first winner is D as in dog, 3, 9, and F as in Frank. Second one was E as in elephant, F as in Frank, 6, 4. Third one was D as in dog, F as in Frank, 7, 7. Then it was 9, 2, 3, 1. F as in Frank, 6, 3, D as in dog. And then there's 2 more. Bear with me. F as in Frank, E as in elephant, number 0, E as in elephant. And then the last one, number 1, 2, 8, 9. And those are the 7 winners from the Moon River Lottery. And thank you for listening to me read out all of those numbers and letters. That was a little painful to read out. I hope it wasn't so painful to listen.
Okay, thank you, Neil. And yes, I'm so sorry I asked you to do this, but I think it's fun, isn't it? It's really Web3 style, listening to the last 4 digits of your wallet, trying to find it. Yeah. And as you have probably noticed, that there are very weird numbers of winners, right? That's because these are the wallet addresses of those people who voted at least 5 times in the past 10 referenda, which means there are those people who voted 100% of the time for 10 proposals, and they're going to be airdropped tokens right away with no shuffle, no nothing. In total, there are 10 people on Moon River, 10 people on Moonbeam who are going to be airdropped some GLMR and MOVR tokens. Okay, but that's actually not all. There are special NFTs for all voters in the past 10 referenda on both networks. It's a specially designed by our community member NFT. It's a POAP. It says I voted 2024. Yeah, you can get whatever you want out of that information, why there is 2024. But there are a couple of more important, very important proposals that are coming up in November and December. There are going to be at least 2 runtime upgrades in root track, the most important track. And yeah, make sure to vote, because there are going to be, I voted 2025, but will not be giving any hints, maybe a bit later, but not now. Okay, let's go to the last probably section of this call and future outlook and closing remarks. I'm actually going to ask each speaker to give like a sentence, a brief outlook on what they see for Moonbeam's future and in terms of governance and what they are excited about. Marin, would you like to start? And then Jim, Sig, Yaron? Yep.
All right. So personally, I'm very excited about the path Moonbeam DAO is taking. So it's a first step, the MGG program towards better decentralization of the government. And I believe we'll see more and more proposals put it for assessment. So LFG.
Okay, and for me, I would just say the future is bright with governance on Moonbeam. By the way, I wanted to add, if anyone is interested in applying for a grant, you can go to the Moonbeam.network website and just search for apply for grants, and that should pull the page right up. And so what's the outlook? Well, I think it's going to be great as long as some builders on this call keep building on Moonbeam and everyone keeps doing what they're doing.
Yeah, if you ask me, Moonbeam governance is quite robust, and GG brings more power to it, and I fight for a sustainable governance and treasury spending. But trust me, when MCG kicks in, if there is any Shadow Realm Dark Gov, I'll jump straight into your face. Trust me.
Yeah, I can only chime in, MGG. I think also that Moonbeam is quite robust in terms of governance, even better than Polkadot. Shots fired. Yeah, I think MGG will be have quite an impact, because if you look at the Karma dashboard, you can see that 1 million glimmer for each MGG will be quite a significant amount already. So yeah, LFG.
Awesome. I actually insisted on having the name of the program being Moonbeam Governance Guild to have MGG. Moonbeam, good game, isn't it? Okay, so let's summarize then. We explored the core governance at Moonbeam and discussed the roles of each speaker's play in making this ecosystem more inclusive, community-driven, and fun. We launched Moonbeam Governance Guild, and I'm going to say one more time that the deadline is in 3 days. We also highlighted how our community delegates, Treasury, and Grants Council are actively shaping Moonbeam's present and future. I actually love these guys. They are working very hard. And I actually want to thank Joe. Joe is the person, the artist who designed our POAP. He's our senior ambassador, one of the best designers in our ecosystem, because he has been a senior ambassador for over 2 years now, might be even 3. And he works with Instagram team. So if you want to check out the Moonbeam Instagram, go ahead and do so. Okay. Piotr, would you like to mention something else?
Yes. So I think that in shortest way, it's not over. We are constantly looking at the new ways to incentivize, any kind of contributions. We don't want to make anything obvious here, but I would really recommend you to take a look at the possibility to edit the entries in our ecosystem projects. So just go there, see for yourself. It's quite easy. We try to create something similar to what you currently see, and that will be also connected to your Karma profiles. So I think many good things are coming, and as Lina, you hinted, it's 2024. We are just very closely to closure this, and then open 2025. 2025 should be fun, so stay tuned, and hopefully you'll join us in this adventure and quest. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Piotr. So for those looking to get more involved, there are plenty of opportunities, actually. You can join us on the forum. You know where to find it. Definitely apply for MGG if you are a governance geek, like these people are. Participate in discussions on the forum. There are some very interesting proposals coming up. And stay engaged with the forum discussions. As a final note, if you have questions or want to learn more, you can follow up on the forum and check our resources to stay updated. And remember, every contribution counts. And Piotr and I will continue to monitor and encourage meaningful community input. Yeah. Once again, thank you to our speakers and audience. And I'm very sorry that Michele couldn't join us today. He could have said a lot as well. Yeah, and thank you for your commitment to the future of Moonbeam governance. I'm excited to see where we go from here together. Mm.